Tonight, I'm going to present to you my findings from this discussion that we've had on what men want. It's a social experiment, and I've got a slide for that. There we go. Yeah, there we go. It's a social experiment that I decided to do, and what we've done is we've gotten together, men and women, and discussed things that relate to what it means to become a real man. To help the men understand what it means to become a real man. We are not trying to replace any of your role models. We are not trying to rewrite the book on what it means to be a real man. But tonight I'm going to share with you some of the findings that I've uncovered from this discussion. And here we go. Okay, yeah, so we have a forum discussion. We have a, that was fast. Does that make sense? Yeah, what it means to be a real man. Part one we've done already, so you're not going to get that tonight. What women want. This was done some time ago. Tonight is going to be the alter ego to that, and it is what men want. So let's get started. What men want. This discussion was rather more difficult than the what women want discussion. I'm not sure why, but the theme seemed to be that once we have a question, one question in a man's world will produce one answer, right? That's what we were hoping for. One question, one answer. No, we didn't get one answer. Guess what we got? One question, we didn't get many answers. We got many questions. We got many more questions. That was the theme. One question spawned loads more questions. So I'm going to try and take you through that in an understandable way. First of all, asking this question, we even had to break this down, what men want, because, here we go. So we decided we're going to break it down into, well, I decided break it down into 3 parts. What men want from a woman, what men want from their career, and what men want from society. Okay, so broke it down. And this produced more questions. I'm going to share with you 3 discoveries. We discovered loads of stuff, right? But I've decided to go with 3 things tonight. And the 3 things I'm going to share with you are, firstly, this one. The one thing all men want. Anyone want to know the answer to that question? The one thing that all men want. Who would like to know the answer to that question? Just raise your hand. Okay, good. It's coming. It will be here.
Come on.
What is more important than a woman? We discovered as well. Who would like to know the answer to this question? Yeah, what is more important than a woman as it relates to being a man? Okay. And finally, I'll share with you some miscellaneous cool conclusions that we've had. All right, here we go. One thing all men want. Anyone want to guess what that might be?
Faster lah.
There you go. So she wants the man to go faster here. Really? Did you really read my mind? Well, how many thinks it could be this? It might be this. It's okay to raise your hand. It might be this. Yeah. Ring some bells. It might be that. Okay, how many thinks it's the first one? Thank you. How many thinks it's the second one? And thank you. How many thinks is the last one? All right.
I think it's all of them.
All of the above. Right. I've got some bad news for everybody. It's not this. It isn't. This isn't what men want. I would say this is the 3 things all boys want. Oh. That's pretty much. I mean, I don't really know. We didn't. I'm just fooling around. Okay. But this isn't. This is the list that guess who gives to you.
Dr. Ru.
Oh, actually, this is the list that society and the media give. This is what we are told that men want. And the problem with that is, while there may be some truth in it, the problem with that is it's superficial. It's really shallow. And in this discussion group, we just wanted to go a bit further than the surface. So this is the common sense answer. If you ask any man on the street, he'll say, "Yeah, lah, if I had this, all the women would come to me." Right? This is the kind of the way the script goes. Well, tonight we're going to look at how this isn't the whole truth. Okay? In fact, this is very little of the truth. So what does a man want? This was the question. And we had loads of discussion about it. But it distilled down to one thing. Would you like to know the answer to this question?
Yes.
What does a man want? When I reveal this will only be understandable to those who are open to it. Okay? If you're not open to, if you are thinking only the way the media has told you, you will not understand really the significance of the answer. The answer to this question is this.
What is a real man? To be a
The answer to the question of what men want is this.
What a man wants from a woman is to be a real man.
A man wants respect from a woman, doesn't he? We discussed it. He wants respect from one. He wants understanding. He wants status from his career. He wants all kinds of. He wants to be accepted. All these things are what men want. But really, what they really want is to be able to be this in the world. Am I wrong? Men?
Definition.
This is what you want to be in the world. You want to be seen as one of these, as opposed to not a real man, right? Because you want the respect that only a real man can get naturally. You want you want the status that only a real man can get naturally. You want the acceptance that only a real man can get naturally. You fight for it day in and day out because that's what you crave. And it comes to the real men. So the question then is, what is a real man? See how one question just leads on to others? What is a real man? That's the answer. In 4 words. A real man is not a man who has money, power, or all the sex he can get. A real man is one who walks down the street with a bit of this. I'm not talking about objectives. I'm not talking about little goals. This is higher purpose. Something that he wants for his life. Something he wants his life to mean by the time it's over. Do you follow me? That's what it means to be a real man. To walk tall in the world with, what's the word? Purpose. Okay. So what is manly purpose? What does that mean? We discussed it. Here are some dimensions to it, okay? It's not the complete definition. In fact, it's not a definition at all. These are dimensions to purpose. Would job career be a dimension to one's life's purpose?
Yes.
The answer is no. Okay? No, it's not your job, it's not your career. You might be an accountant. That's not your purpose in life. You might be a teacher. That may not be your purpose in life. Some jobs do connect themselves with life purposes, but just becoming a teacher doesn't mean you have that life purpose to change the world. It doesn't mean that, okay? So it's not your job or career. What is it then? Does this come into it? A life purpose It comes into it, yes, the answer is yes. It comes into it in the sense that you don't have to love what you're doing in terms of life purpose. You don't have to. You could hate it. You could hate it. Mahatma Gandhi probably hated what he was doing. Hunger strike. You think you love that? You wouldn't love that, right? He didn't love that, I bet. He probably hated it. But he did it. Passion in the sense a man with purpose is driven. Do you understand what I'm saying? He's driven. That's what I mean by passion. It doesn't mean, oh, I gotta do what I love. You'll say, oh, follow your passion. Follow your passion is the media's way of giving you only half the story. Purpose means a man has passion. He has drive to do what he knows he needs to do to affect the world in the way he knows he wants to affect the world. You follow me? Okay. Does this come into it? Duty, responsibility? Yes, it does. Absolutely. The question is, a man with purpose has a sense of duty, yes or no? Absolutely. It's not difficult. The discussion was long, but when we came to these understandings, it was very quick. How about growth? And in growth, by growth I mean his own personal development. There's a man who's on a purpose to, affect the world, maybe change the world a little bit by the time he dies. Does he need to grow as a man? Yes. Absolutely. Because it's not enough to stay as a child, the center of your own universe. It's just not enough. A man with purpose starts to add layers: family, friends, community, and it keeps on going depending on what his purpose is. Okay, so this is related to that. A man with purpose is a real man, and here are some questions for you. Is a real man diplomatic necessarily? The answer is no. A real man speaks his mind. Why? Because it's the right thing to do. If there is a truth to be said, the real man will choose saying the truth as opposed to saying what's comfortable. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is what defines a real man. We're not talking about just men. We're talking about those who want to be real men. It's a little different. It may fit into your ideas. It may not. It doesn't concern me whether it does or not. What concerns me is that I get it out to you tonight and say it. Say it the way I understood it from the discussions. Diplomatic? No, not necessarily. Politicians are diplomatic, yes. Do they get the kind of respect that a real man should? Or do we think that they're all a bunch of AHs? You know what I mean? Right? They try to appease everybody, but no one gets any benefit. Because under the table, they're the ones who are getting the benefit. It's kind of how it works, right? Is a real man decisive? Yes or no? Yes, absolutely. Doesn't mean he bullies anyone. But indecision is not the characteristic of a real man. Is a real man stubborn? Yeah. Yes, in the sense that a tree is stubborn. That a tree is not blown over by any whim and wind of opinion that comes along. Do you follow me? That's the sense that a real man is stubborn. A child can also be stubborn, but it's a different sense. Okay? Emotional?
Sometimes.
Emotional sometimes? I think the answer would have to be a yes.
Or no?
No, I think a man is allowed to feel. I hope. A man's allowed to feel. But what a man doesn't do is press the panic button when he feels. The emotion is not the situation. He is the situation. The emotion is a dimension of that situation.
Controlled emotion.
Certainly. And it can be uncontrolled in terms of you feeling it. It can be that real. But it doesn't mean you let it dominate you. It doesn't mean that. It means you have some kind of dominance over your emotions. It doesn't mean repression. Repression and dominance, this is Christ and Antichrist. One is the real thing, one is the false deal. So it's useful to understand that we can be tricked sometimes into accepting the false deal. Okay. And here we go. What is more important to a man than having a woman? Is this question even valid? What is more important to a man? There's an answer, by the way. And it's a very clear answer to this one. You want to know what it is?
Having 2 women.
Yeah, having 2 women. Oh man, I wish you were there. We can all go home now. What is more important to a man than having a woman? From the discussion, it's this. The man's purpose. In other words, and I painted the scenario to the forum. In other words, should a man leave his woman if the woman gets in the way of the purpose? Now, I just want a show of hands. How do you feel about that? Should a man leave his woman? And just raise your hand if you think he should. Should a man leave his woman if his woman gets in the way of his purpose? Wow, okay, that's not the majority. Not even close to the majority. Should a man stand by his woman regardless? Okay. All right, some of you very old-fashioned. No, I'm just teasing him. The consensus of the forum was that a man should leave. That nothing is more important than a man's purpose. If the purpose is put second, guess what happens to the man?
Unreal.
He's not a real man anymore. And guess what? His woman respected him because he was a real man. And you take that away, you've got a problem. The woman might be happy for a little while, but guess what? Do you think she might lose some respect in the long run?
Yeah.
That the man has backed down so that he can take her shopping. The reason I give that example is because it's happened to me. I've been faced with that. And it's horrible. And it's horrible to say get rid of the woman. So I'm not going to say it in those words. But I'm going to say, absolutely, the man's purpose, if he wants to be a real man and walk tall in the world. I'm not talking about having happiness forever. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about this is the way to have happiness. No, I'm saying this is the way of a real man. Should anyone or anything get in the way of your purpose, take you away from that purpose, you will need to let them go. Now, some women will support you in your purpose. Halle-effing-luia. You're lucky. They say behind every good man is a good woman. I keep looking behind, there's nobody. Susah for me,
Behind every woman is an exhausted man.
Women, this is true, huh? This is true. Because of what we are revealing here, it should become more and more clear that the man will die trying, He will be worn out by the time he is finished. Absolutely worn out. And he should be. And for real men, we wouldn't want it any other way. Worn out by the time you finish on this earth. Okay. A couple of cool conclusions. Here's one. It was very clear that we don't have the answers for every situation and every question that came up. We were simply adding to what we know already. Okay? We were a drop in the ocean. That's it. Nothing more. But possibly an important drop. And we felt it was important for men to talk about these things. Because, you know, we go around not really thinking about what these things mean or even if these things exist. So when we talked about it, I couldn't believe how clear the men were eventually. Absolutely certain. Is it this? Yes. Is it this? No. Absolutely. Would they have been clear before? I don't know. But sitting down and talking about it proved quite beneficial. And this is the one I want to leave you with. Purpose first. For a real man. If you just want to be a regular man, don't have to worry about this stuff. This doesn't concern you. But if you want to leave your mark on the world, if you want to walk tall in any way through society, if you want to end it by having done something real, something tangible, an artifact maybe you leave behind, a legacy even. I mean, those are very big words. We may never get there, but something. Purpose first. I'm going to leave the men with this question. The question is, who are you? And what is your higher purpose? There is no other question a man needs to answer more than these. It's not, what do we eat tonight? It's not, you know, who do I date next week? Even though those are very important.
Leave a legacy.
If you can. If you can. Leave a legacy if you can. So that's what men want. And what's next? Haha. The good guy, the bad boy, and the alpha male. That's next. That's the next discussion. So anyway, you can follow me or friend me on Facebook. As I tell everyone, I'm very unsophisticated, so that's all I use. And if you do the hashtag on Facebook to get all the stuff related to this, it's called that. Real Men Forum hashtag. Okay, so that's all from me tonight. Oh, we got a question. Anyway, I'm done.
Thank you. Thank you for the fantastic